Oh, I had it on my phone too. What a noob. Hello, everybody. Hi, Beccs.
Hi.
Let's do our normal thing here before we jump in, just in case anybody is new. So for the whole first part of this, it's just going to be Beccs and I having a conversation. We're not going to look at chat at all. We won't be seeing your comments. We'll be seeing the highs and stuff. Second half, we will open it up and let you guys ask questions of Beccs. Oh, hold on. Actually, let me check something here. Okay. No, I didn't get a response. I had something I wanted to share, but I have to make sure it's okay. I might share it later on, just something that's happening to one of the Fish Fam people, but I want to make sure they're okay with me sharing it. Okay. I think that was it. I went through that. And mods, if you would, please notice if... Oh, I'm sorry. I said I don't notice a chat. Scotty, I was talking about the other Scotty. I was referring to the other Scotty as tall. Sorry. No offense, Scotty, because another Scott's Aquatics. I call him Scotty as well. He was at the Clash last year. He was a tall one. Okay, mods, if you would, if somebody asks questions, please just remind them that we won't be looking at the chat, and I'm not going to look at it anymore. And now we're going to dig in, and we're going to say hi to Lady Beccs. Hi, Miss Beccs.
Hi.
Thank you so much for joining us. How are you on time tonight, too? Do we need to? Okay.
Nope, totally unlimited.
I should have asked you that before we started, but oh well, at least we're going now.
Yep.
All right. So let's start out with places that you've lived in your life, because I know you currently live with your amazing husband, Kyle, in Colorado, not too far from Geek Boy.
Yep.
But you've lived in a few different places in your life, right? So walk us through that.
Okay. So I have been all over the country. My dad was in the Marine Corps. He was in the Marine Corps for 28 years. And that meant that every 1 to 3 years we moved. So I was born in Parris Island, South Carolina, which is literally where Marine Corps boot camp is.
Yeah.
I have lived in North Carolina. I have lived in Quantico, Virginia. I have lived in Mobile, Alabama. I have lived in Kaneohe Bay, Hawaii.
Say that one again.
Kaneohe Bay, K-Bay, Hawaii. I have lived in, I literally have to sit here and think about it. I have also lived in St. Thomas, USVI because of Kyle's job. I've lived in Owens, Maryland. I'm like literally going through the list in my head of how many places I've been.
Yeah, a lot. I know you guys, like most military families, you, excuse me, you do move quite often. I get that. We did too, but it wasn't, my dad wasn't in the military. He just liked to move. This place sucks. And then he'd move. He never realized that it was just him. He's the one that sucked. He always thought it was every place else. So you've moved around. I don't want to say you got around a lot because that just sounds horrible, but you've moved around quite a bit. And you've been in Colorado for how long now?
We've been in Colorado since 2014. And thank you, Kyle, for reminding me. How could I forget the place that I lived the longest, which was Tampa, Florida.
Okay. I thought Florida was in there.
Yeah. That's where my dad ended up. He didn't retire. He went into civilian work for the DoD. So we ended up staying there.
Gotcha.
For a while. But we've been here since 2014.
Out of all the places you lived, take away the people, because obviously Kyle in your life and stuff, take away the people, but just think about the natural beauty and just everything about the place itself. What was your favorite place to live?
Probably Quantico, Virginia.
Really?
Yeah.
What was it about Virginia that you liked so much?
So it was kind of perfect because number one, I have a lot of really good memories from Quantico.
Okay.
Like some of my best memories growing up, because I was there for the end of elementary school into middle school. I left after 7th grade. And those years were just still fresh in my mind to this day at 35. I can relive it every day if I wanted to. And it was the friends and everything else that made it. I know you said forget the people, but it's hard. Yeah, it's hard to. So, but more than anything, it was beautiful. I mean, Quantico, Virginia, we were on base, and we were in this tiny, tiny Cracker Jack box of a house. And of course, it was a duplex, because on most bases, my dad at that point, I think, was major. So your housing is different depending on enlisted officer, etc.
Yeah.
So our house was like this with another house. So my living room wall was my friend's bedroom wall. And we used to like knock to each other every night, and it would drive my mom nuts. But we lived in this like tiny little house, but we lived on top of this massive, really steep hill that was all forest, and it went down into this gorgeous, like, babbling brook. And then it just went straight up to the other side.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So like the fall there is gorgeous. You have a really nice fall in Virginia, and the weather, it can get hot during the summer, but it's bearable, comparatively speaking, to something like Florida.
You said it differently, and I wondered about that. You called it Virginia, and I've always pronounced it Virginia.
Oh yeah, it's my accent, or lack thereof, or mix of that, is totally messed up.
It's a small thing, but I'm wondering. Obviously, you live there, so does that sound right, Virginia?
No,
as opposed to Virginia.
No, most of the time I'll say Virginia, but
okay.
Like, listen,
okay,
when you grow up with a mother who is from North Carolina and has a very thick accent, and my grandmother had a very thick accent. She was born and raised right outside of Raleigh in the Piedmont area. And then you have my dad, who was born and raised in West Roxbury, Mass.
Oh yeah,
like
that's a combination.
Yeah, I didn't know growing up like what the right way to say things were. I mean, there are days where, and people make fun of me all the time, there are days where my accent from my mom's side will come out, and I'll be like, Kyle, can you come here, please? And then there are other days where I'll say things like my dad, like yesterday.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Yeah. My daughter has that a little bit too, but that's because she spent a lot of time in the UK. So when she's over there for a while, she comes back, and some people are there for a weekend and they come back and they're like, "Hello, governor," just off the top. But she does little things that I notice, that so the same type of thing. Gotcha. So you've moved around quite a bit, and I'm sorry, you said how long in Colorado now? 2013?
2014 we moved here.
Okay. And you moved there because of Kyle's work. Why don't we go back on that a little bit too? Well, no, let's focus just on you. We'll talk about you and Kyle a little bit here in a while. And for anybody who doesn't know, Kyle, Aviator, he's in the chat. Kyle doesn't keep any fish. He lives vicariously through Beccs, but Kyle is a part of the fish fam. He's in a whole bunch of streams all the time. He hangs out with us. He supports the channels. He is definitely part of the fish fam as well. So someday we probably will have a Kyle focus on, but we'll still throw a little bit of Kyle in here with the conversation. Anyways, so let's go back to jobs and stuff. Like, so you moving around so much. What kind of jobs have you done? Go back way to the beginning too. Did you, because you lived on Army base or Marine bases, you lived on military bases, it's a lot more difficult. You're definitely weren't a farmer or anything like that, right? What different things have you done?
So my biggest moneymaker from about middle school on was babysitting.
Gotcha. Just like Shanna.
Man, I could bank, especially during the ball season. Like when you had all the military balls always happen around the same time. For the Marine Corps, it's right around the Marine Corps birthday in November. So I would be able to multiple weekends just go babysit for a bunch of different families, and I could easily make like $200 a weekend.
Nice. Just
babysitting.
Nice. And you were how old around that time? Like
middle school, like sixth, 7th grade.
We had ball season here too, but my wife bought me some longer shorts, so it's a lot better these days. Sorry, I had to throw one of those in there.
Heck yeah.
All right, so you did babysitting, which is a common thing. I actually babysat a little bit too when I was a kid. Not as much as, not to be sexist, but not as much as most women, girls did. But I did babysit a little bit here and there. And actually, I did for one summer when I was in 7th grade, and I got paid with a waterbed. So that was like, 70s. And then my dad gave it away. So that was unfortunate. But all right, so you did the babysitting. What was after that?
So my parents were one of those types of parents where they wanted me to focus mainly on my academics. So when I was in high school, all I was allowed to do for a job was babysit.
Gotcha.
And they were very, very serious because I was a good student. I was a good student growing up. I graduated high school with a 4.9 GPA because of AP classes that I took. I was in, I think, the top 10 in the class of like 800 as far as like grades were concerned. And that ended up getting me a full ride scholarship to college. So at that point, they wanted me, even in college, they wanted me, because I was living at home still, to focus on academics.
Good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good. I mean, it's unfortunate that some people can't, and some people choose that route to not go that route. I mean, either go to college and have a job, and they have to pay for some of it, whatever. But if you have that ability, I wish more parents would be pushing that, because not that college is for everybody, but if you have an aptitude, that's the route you should take. And it'd be nice if you could focus right on that.
Yeah. And I knew that I wanted to go to college. I, from a freshman in high school, knew I wanted to go to college for teaching. And so I ended up, it was really hard because here I sat, my dream school, which was University of North Carolina, I got into. But we were residents of Florida.
Oh.
And they do not give out-of-state scholarships.
Yeah.
Barely at all. So I had to make a really, really difficult decision of either go into debt with student loans to go to my dream school or take a full ride scholarship to USF, which was local, and not graduate with no debt. And so it broke my heart to do it, but I went with the full ride scholarship because how can you not?
Yeah. Especially for kids now, it's crazy. Even from when you graduated to now, the cost of college has gone through the roof, like just astronomical. It's crazy how expensive it is. So that was probably the smart decision there.
Yeah. And because of that, we had a deal. My parents and I had a deal. I don't think they thought it. I think they thought I could get a full ride scholarship, but I think they thought it would be more difficult for me to. They made me a deal that if I got a full ride, they would buy my first car.
Nice. Cool.
That being said, my first car, and you're going to like this, Rico, my very first car, and you can ask Kyle.
Volkswagen.
Yep. It was a Volkswagen Jetta 2002.
Oh, gotcha.
I graduated in 2005, so it was an older used model.
Yeah, but not really old. I mean, that's pretty,
No, but there's no way they were going to buy me a brand new car. They were like, nope, you're getting used.
Yeah, the first car should always be used. It's crazy for parents to, because you got to learn about having a car. It's dumb to buy a brand new car as a kid's first.
Yeah, and I had a love-hate relationship with that car. Because number one, you love it because it's your first car. It's like your first, oh man, I love it. I hated it because one, it was possessed. I swear to God, it was possessed. Like I said, you can ask Kyle. It had a sunroof, and I totally thought I was the shit because I had a sunroof. So the sunroof would open on its own.
Nice.
And in Florida, that's not good because in Florida, I don't even know, 60% of the year, every afternoon, it's going to rain.
Yeah.
And then my AC started blowing chunks of stuff at me every time I would turn it on. Then my heat wouldn't work. Then it just crapped out on me finally.
Gotcha.
But I had a love-hate relationship because it saved me during an accident.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
What happened there?
It was the last year that Volkswagen made the Jetta with a steel frame before they moved to like the fiberglass and everything else. I was at a light coming out of college to go home, and this really, really big, like it had to be like a Dodge 2500. I mean, dually diesel, massive truck rams into me in the back, like hits the back of my car and pushes me out into the intersection. And luckily, I was like this close from the front of my car getting taken off by people going the opposite direction. Man, there was not a scratch on that freaking car, but the front of that Dodge, whatever it was,
really
bad.
That's weird.
Yeah. So
Volkswagens aren't really known for, being, well, anything good. I mean, I have a Volkswagen tattoo. Don't get me wrong. I have a Volkswagen, but I had a lot of Beetles and, Super Beetles and Bajas and all kinds of, the old Volkswagens from the 60s and 70s, Yeah. Eric Wyrock. Becks is number one. Thank you so much, Eric. I'm not supposed to look at chat, but those, those pop out for me. So actually it's going to bubble in just a second, or it's going to say, oh yeah, I bet it's going to be a bubble. We're going to see. It's there it goes.
There it goes.
You just put $20 in my thong. Becks is number one.
Nice.
Thanks for that. I appreciate that. I had an itch. That helped. So where were we at? We were talking
about jobs.
Jobs. Yeah. Got off on a little bit of a tangent.
Yeah.
I always like to hear about Volkswagens.
Yeah, I figured you would enjoy that. But now during the summer I worked. If I wasn't taking summer classes, because a lot of times to get some of those stupid gen eds taken care of, most of them were taken care of. I actually went into college with multiple college credits because of AP courses.
Yeah.
So like it made my life easier. I had like half my gen eds done already. So the other half, I tried to just like push through them and take summer courses. But when I wasn't taking summer courses, my very, very first job was actually at a Hallmark store, which was boring as fuck.
Yeah.
It was so freaking boring. Oh my God. And I worked with a bunch of like these, I don't even know how to just women who were all about
women.
They were just all about everything, because you know how Hallmark stores have all those like figurines and collectible things.
All collectible stuff.
Oh my God, they were
collectible,
crazy.
Even though there's a million of them made.
Yeah. Like that was rough. I hated that job, and especially Valentine's Day sucked so much working there, and Christmas sucked.
What was it? Just because it was busy, or what was it that was so bad about?
All you stupid freaking men would wait till the last second, and on Valentine's Day, from like the moment that we opened until about an hour before we closed, it was nothing but men wandering around going, I need something for my wife, girlfriend, whatever. I don't even know.
Did that. I never bought my wife useless crap ever, because she's a very practical person, and I know that she doesn't like crap. She doesn't like crap. She likes stuff that does things. Everything's got to have a purpose. She doesn't just want something because it's knick-knacky or whatever. It's got to do something. I mean, her favorite gift is like a washing machine or something. Sounds horrible. No. She doesn't do all the laundry, but that's her favorite idea of a gift. So, anyways, the Hallmark store. Okay. What was after that one?
So after Hallmark, I pretty much, because then I started Hallmark. My freshman year, like towards the end, like spring semester going into summer, and my grades dropped because they were not respectful of my schedule as a college student. And I had told them that up front, and they had promised me they would work with it, but they didn't. And so it was like every day after being at college, courses from 7 a.m. until 3 p.m., I would have to like change in the bathroom somewhere in the Starbucks and then go to work. And so I didn't have time to do anything. And I would call out every now and again just to try and get like a term paper done or something. And then finally my mom just looked at me and was like, nope, you're done.
Yeah.
Your grades are slipping. We want you to,
got to keep your priorities straight. Yeah.
Yeah. So at that point, I just did my thing, focused on school, and it was a good thing that I did because I almost lost my scholarship because my grades had dropped.
Wow. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And Gab, do you call her Gab?
I just call her Mama.
But you told me to call her Gab.
Gab.
Because I always want to call her Gabs with an S on the end. I don't know why, but it just seems right. But so Gab was like, no, this isn't going to fly. We're not doing this. Yeah. You're out of there. Yeah. And you were just working for fun money, or
at that point, like that was the deal. I had to pay for my own gas and
insurance and stuff.
They would pay my insurance,
gotcha.
But I had to pay for my gas.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's a good way to do it. That's a great way to, compromise, give you that freedom to get around, but yet, still not make you tied down with anything. Okay, so you quit that, and did you work at all then through the rest of school?
So I basically took a position my very last year of college, which was 2008, 2009. I took a position on a political campaign because I graduated. I majored and graduated with my degree in political science. So, and it was really cool because it was actually not a campaign in Florida. It was a campaign in North Carolina. I'm not going to tell you guys what party or any of that kind of stuff, so don't ask. We're not going there. But it was an amazing experience, and I actually got out of an entire week of classes to go work on this campaign in November, right before Election Day. And that was the coolest and hardest thing that I did, I think.
Gotcha.
The biggest thing that sticks out in my mind that I remember from that, because a lot of it was a blur. We were driving around a massive, massive county and just putting up signs door to door. I worked at one of the parties. All of RNC and DNC have like local offices.
Yeah.
And I was at one of them for a couple days doing the call center and all that other stuff. And that was freaking hard. And then I think the highlight of it all was election night, because election night, I actually got to go to the courthouse with all of the other candidates, with the media, watch the returns come in. And I just remember looking at the particular candidate that I was working for, and the way they did it was the top 4 for this particular race, whoever was in the top 4 would get those seats.
Okay.
And so it was basically at large top 4. So he was sitting, I think, at like number 5 at that point. And he was literally like, I'm not going to win. I'm not going to win. And I looked at him and I said, just wait. And I walked up to the media, because the media were like right there in the front. And there was a big projection screen, and it was projecting like everything coming in. And so I walked up to the media and I said, do you guys have the latest numbers? And they said, yeah. And I said, okay, can you just tell me, has Stump Sound come in? Has Hampstead come in? And they said, oh, no, not yet. And I walked back over to my candidate and I said, you're fine. I said, your top performance areas, they haven't come in yet. Gotcha. And when they do come in, you're going to propel up. Yeah. And he didn't believe me at first. And it happened. And he got elected. And it was the coolest thing ever.
I almost wish, obviously I don't want people to be forced to do any of those types of things, to work in that. But it would be good to have people either in high school or college or whatever have classes where they got to do more of that to understand the process so that they would have a bigger stake in it.
Yes.
Because so many people just feel left out. And I don't want to get into all the stuff that people believe that happened recently, but if people could see how things actually worked, maybe they would be a little more, I don't know, just understanding about the whole process. I think a lot of people don't understand how the process works at all, and that would it would help. So anyways, not to get political.
Yeah.
So that was it. Now, was that like, even today, I want to get into other stuff you did, but even today, was that like your favorite thing you did out of all the different things?
So it's difficult, right? Because I loved the high that I had basically on election night. I absolutely hated working everything else. And that's when I decided that as much as I enjoyed the fruits of the labor, I knew at that moment I did not want to work in politics, because
gotcha.
you can't have a life.
Yeah.
You cannot have a life. Even at the lower echelon, local level, you still are working your ass off and you're at beck and call 24/7. So you cannot have a life. And I knew I didn't want that, but it inspired me to say, you know what? I came to college at first to be a teacher, and I switched majors. I'm going to find an alternative method once I graduate to get my teacher certification for Florida. And this is what I want to teach.
So that's good. At least you had that experience to decide, and you didn't waste, who knows, maybe years of your life going that other route. You were able to, because at least you had that experience. Again, work experience, regardless of the field. Work experience is so important.
It is. It is. And it gives you, it gives you, I was basically an unpaid intern at that point. But because it was a local campaign and I knew the candidate really well because it was my hometown, I ended up being like one of the upper echelon people. And it was a lot of fun, but it was definitely that moment, that aha light bulb moment where it was like, nope, Beccs, this is not for you.
Yeah.
You need to find something else. And I started searching after I graduated. I said, okay, I'm going to search for a way to get my teacher certification. And luckily in Florida, you can go through what's called the Educator Preparation Institute, which is usually run by community colleges and their night classes. And you have to student teach, you have to observe, you have to meet all of these requirements. And I took out a loan, and I think it was like a $2,000 loan, $2,500 with interest, of course. And I started working at Victoria's Secret. I was still living with my parents because when Kyle and I graduated, it was 2009.
So there's a good point. You did meet Kyle in college?
I did meet Kyle in college.
Okay. College sweethearts.
Not really. Not really. No? I'll go off. I can go off on that tangent because
we'll get there. We'll get there. We'll talk about that because I need to know now.
Yeah, it's an interesting story. But
you hated him at first, didn't you? You hated him.
No, I didn't hate him.
Yes, you did. I know you did. You hated him. First time you saw him, you just wanted to slap him. I mean, that's how I felt.
Well,
I mean, no. I mean, Kyle's awesome.
But no, so
we'll come back around to that one though.
Okay.
So you worked at Victoria's Secrets while you were doing the teacher night classes. Okay.
And that was hard because Vicky's worked me to the bone. Like to the freaking.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. I opened myself up for that.
I'm such a child. Just also, teacher, working at Victoria's Secret, college girl, all that goes in together, and
Yeah, I get it. I get it. Trust me, I totally get it. But,
okay, so Victoria's Secrets, which was very different. You know what? I know somebody who manages stores at Victoria. She doesn't anymore. She's moved on from there, but she was a manager, regional manager for Victoria's Secrets up in this area. It's actually she's my only real friend. I mean, face-to-face, real life friend. It's his wife. They just got married not that long ago. I was the best man.
Oh, yay.
Yeah. So I do know somebody who was in that same area. All right. So you worked. How long did you work there then? Just while you were going to school?
So at that point, I was out of school. I had
But I mean, you were
graduated.
doing night classes and stuff.
Yeah. So I was still living at home because, like I said, when we graduated, the recession was really bad. There weren't jobs for us to go into. So we basically, you either went back to school or you got your minimum wage job and just worked as many hours as you could. Yeah. And so I lived at home with my parents and I paid for all of my own stuff. At that point, I had taken over everything. The house was just basically a roof over my head. I was never home because if I wasn't, and I was like backroom stock. So my job was physical. My job was getting everything processed to go out onto the floor, doing floor sets, making the store look like it, is supposed to be all pretty and make it, look like that type of thing.
Yeah, a lot of their products don't seem like they're really heavy, but when there's 5,000 of them, the weight adds up.
You would be amazed at how much like 5,000 panties weighs in a box.
I think I'd like to experience that.
Yeah. I actually threw my back out. Like, no joke, threw my back out lifting those boxes up a 12-foot ladder. I had to like carry them up and put them up, and I ended up throwing my back out.
I mean, not everybody could say that. Not everybody can say they threw their back out from panties.
No, and to this day, yeah. I suffer from sciatica from it.
Yeah, this was not a joke. It's not that I should joke about, but it's
it's still funny.
Yeah.
You gotta have a sense of humor about these things. But like, yeah. So
excuse me. Sorry.
Basically, I worked my way up. I became a manager within the first year. Every holiday, I was keyed, and if I wasn't working at night, I was student teaching during the day. If I was working, during the day, I was going to night classes. So there was not an hour in the day that I wasn't doing something.
How long did that last?
EPI took me, I want to say that took me a year, I think.
Oh, okay.
All in total to do between observation hours, student teaching hours, all the classes. And then I finally got my teacher certification, went and did the whole, you have to give them your fingerprints and they need to make sure that you're not a bad person.
Yeah. And you snuck through anyways.
Yeah, I snuck through anyways. Oh, well, they let it happen. But by that point, once I had finished all of that, I stayed at Beccs because I was at least temporarily enjoying my job. I got to use my artistic eye with floor sets, and I was involved in all of that type of stuff, and I was doing really well, and I was making decent money.
Yeah. It was creative enough for you because you are a very creative person, so it was enough to satisfy that part of the job. Plus, money is nice. I like money.
Yeah.
And gotcha. That makes sense. Even though you went to school for something different, specifically, I get that why you would. Yeah. If you're happy enough.
Yeah. And I mean, going into a management role with a degree in political science, you'd be amazed at the ability, and having a background in teaching now, you would be amazed at your ability to use those things you've learned from both of those areas to be a better manager.
Yeah. I could see that. Definitely. Because, political concepts are in every aspect of our lives. So, I sound like Christopher Walken there. Every aspect of our lives. I never did a Christopher Walken for us. So yeah, I can see that definitely, and teaching obviously. I mean, yeah, I could see how those would overlap. I think there's a lot of places where things overlap like that. Your training can help you do different things in the future that aren't really related, but there's just enough of a nugget there to help you. Okay, so you enjoyed there, so you stayed there for how long total were you at Beccs?
I was there for 5 years.
Okay.
And then Kyle and I got married and we got shipped off to St. Thomas USVI.
Okay.
So
why don't we stop with the work stuff there and focus on the Kyle relationship? How did that all come about? So you guys went to the same school. Did you really know each other at school? Walk us through how you guys met and all that.
So it happened like this. I was with another guy. He was with another girl. We're both political science majors and degree holders. That's how we met, was political science courses. And the first time that we really started talking, because we knew each other, and we would, in passing from like, I think maybe 2007 on to 2008, it was just kind of like, hey, how you doing? Yeah, we're in classes together, whatever. Good to see you. And then we started, oh God. Then we started talking on AIM every night after class. And then 2008, my mother looked at me and she said, I don't understand what you're doing. It is very obvious that Kyle has feelings for you. And we like Kyle. And we hate your current boyfriend. So we would really like it if you would consider breaking up with the loser that you're with and get with somebody like Kyle. Oh yeah. My whole family pushed me.
Wow. They saw something that you didn't at the time, or maybe you saw but didn't realize.
I saw it.
Yeah.
I saw it. I felt it. I even said something to my mother. I was like, sometimes I sit here and I think that I'm doing this all wrong, and the guy that I'm with is wrong, and that Kyle is the one, and I can just tell. And she would just be like, yeah. So what the hell are you doing?
Yeah.
So we threw a graduation party, big graduation party, and Kyle was invited, and my boyfriend at the time was invited, because we all graduated the same day. And everybody in the family who wasn't familiar with what my boyfriend looked like thought that Kyle was my boyfriend based on the photos. And there is a literal photo that I hold over his head to this day of me shooting pool, because the place that we had it at was a friend's house, and they had an outdoor pool table and a pool, because everybody in Florida has a freaking pool.
Yeah.
I'm literally shooting, lining up my shot, and he is looking at my ass.
Perfect.
With his girlfriend next to him.
Yeah. Was she looking at him?
Yeah. Yeah. There were multiple pictures of that. So, but I ended up getting engaged. He was going to ask the girl he was with to marry him. She broke up with him before he could, because she was a freaking troll bitch, and I hated her. And she hated me, which is fine.
Yeah, which of course.
Yeah. And then I ended up breaking up with my fiance. I literally just slammed the ring down in front of him and said, we're done. And
Did he do something, or was it because Kyle?
Oh, he was an abusive asshole.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he was an abusive asshole. But as soon as I walked down the stairs, I got my phone. I texted Kyle and I said, I'm leaving blank, because I don't want to use names. I'm leaving my fiance. And Kyle got back to me within 5 seconds and said, are you okay? And I said, yeah, I'm fine. I'm fine with it. I've made my peace with it. And then he comes back and says, well, not to be too forward, but when can I see you? Right there.
Nice.
Done.
And, and again, how long ago was that?
That was 2012. We were married in 2013, and it's been history ever freaking since.
Yeah. Yeah. And, you can see it. You do see you guys on live streams. For anybody who doesn't know, Kyle is, in quite a few live streams and everything. And you can see it. You can see it that I recognize it. I have it, my wife and I. Mm-hmm. So I recognize it when I see it. And you see it there. You definitely do. I don't want to change the subject too much, but you often talk about your mom, but you never say anything about your dad, really. My
dad and I have a strained relationship, and right now we aren't talking. I haven't talked to him since December, because when he came with my mom to my house, he was a complete and utter asshole. Okay. We don't have to go into it. I just something I noticed that you often talked about your mom, but you've never really said anything about your dad at all. It's hard. So I'm proud of my dad, because he's a war veteran, and he gave 28 years of his life to serving the country. And I will always and forever be proud of him for that. And I was actually telling this story to Jenna and Steven a couple days ago, I actually almost lost my dad because he was one of the first battalions in during Desert Shield, Desert Storm. He did reconnaissance, 2nd Recon Battalion, and he and his men were the ones that would clear the minefields for the tanks to come through. And I was reading a book one day called America's Battalion, and that was the battalion he was with. And apparently he had been interviewed for this book.
Wow.
And so I'm reading, and some of it's really funny, you know, because like my dad's always been really funny. He's kind of like crazy, high energy type guy. But then I got to a certain passage where he started talking about going into the minefields one night. And he described that he actually tripped a mine. And it was a dud. And he described everything going through his mind at that point, because most soldiers Marines and soldiers who have children usually carry a letter on them.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
To give to their child if something were to happen to them. And he was literally talking about the letter that he had written for me and all the things that, you know, he wasn't going to be able to see. And I mean, it was like traumatizing for me to read this.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah, I can't even imagine.
Yeah, I mean, like I think I was bawling. I walk out, I've got the book in my hand. I'm looking at my mom like, what the fuck? Why didn't you tell me this? It was.
And she knew about it.
She knew about it.
Gotcha.
Yeah, because we used to get, so this was before, obviously, like Desert Shield, Desert Storm was before you had all the internet and video conference stuff for families. Yeah. We only had letters and those, you remember those like little recorders that you could get those little mini tapes for, and you could like
yes, I had fun stories about those. Yes, because you could record at different speeds and play back at different speeds. I called into work one time to use one of those. Anyways,
so he took one with him, and he would record and send the tapes to us, and we would know, like she would know, if they were basically close to a battle at that point, because you could hear the mortars going off in the background. And you could tell his voice was completely changed.
Yeah.
And then the worst part was, because he was gone for so long, when he came home, I didn't know who he was.
Yeah.
I literally was scared of him, because I literally looked at my mom and was like, who is this person? Like, I thought Dad was a picture. So I will always be proud of him. And he has accomplished amazing things in his career, both in the military. He retired as a lieutenant colonel, and in his civilian, GSer billet, he has done amazing things, and I'm very, very proud of him. But right now, I'm not very happy with him.
I understand. I mean, hopefully it does, come back. Family is tough. It's hard, and sometimes it's worth it to to work it through, and sometimes it's just not. So,
yep.
And it's weird you said, you're talking about your dad and doing this and stuff, because I have friends that were actually a little bit younger than me that were there.
Mm-hmm.
So that just makes me feel friggin' old. Thank you.
I'm sorry, Rico.
It's all about me. It's all about me. All right. So, sorry, I didn't mean to go off on a tangent with your dad. I was just something that stood out to me that I was curious about. Okay. So we talked about the Kyle relationship. Then we got through most of that, and you've sort of, I don't want to say this. How do I say this the right way? Because you've sort of taken a back seat with your career and stuff because of Kyle's career, because he is
air traffic controller.
Thank you. The words just weren't coming. I was going to say FFA, which is the Future Farmers of America. Yeah. So you've sort of taken a back seat since you guys. Now, was Kyle? When did he start doing that stuff? And we don't have to go too far again. I want to someday Kyle will be up here too.
So Kyle, he'll tell you he has wanted to do everything in aviation from moment one. And when we were dating, he was working for Raytheon, and I forget. He can tell you about that, because I don't even remember. He like controlled the simulators or something for the pilots, or it was something like that. I don't even remember. But he worked for Raytheon. And then literally a couple months after we started dating, he got information. He got word that the FAA was hiring for air traffic control. And he had, after college, gone through what's referred to as CTI for air traffic control. And immediately was just like, all right, like, let's do this. And he thought I was going to break up with him. He legit thought I was going to break up with him because we were already in a long distance relationship. At that point, he was back home with his parents in Fort Lauderdale and I was in Tampa.
Gotcha.
So I was literally taking the Amtrak from Tampa to Lauderdale and back every other weekend. And then he would drive. He would drive up. I just didn't want to drive Alligator Alley. But yeah. But so at that point, I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, why do you think I'm going to break up with you? And he said, well, because I know it's already hard enough. And I'm like, so? I'm a Marine Corps brat, dude. Like, I can handle distance. It's not a big deal. So we stayed together. He went off to Oklahoma City for his training, his courses and stuff.
Which lasted?
That lasted, I want to say like 3 months.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's a long time.
Yeah.
So long enough, especially in a newish relationship. Yeah. That's long enough. But
yeah, it felt like forever. But then once he did that, he immediately, like, literally came home, packed up his stuff, and moved to St. Thomas. And I ended up meeting him there after he came back to Florida for our wedding, which was teeny tiny. And I moved out of my parents right after the wedding. We couldn't have a honeymoon because of his job. And we moved, together into our tiny little condo full of spiders and iguanas.
And the rest is history.
Yeah.
And you guys, how many places have you lived together? Just the two, or has there been three places together?
So we here in Springs. Before that, we were in Denver, and before that was St. Thomas.
Okay, all right. So 3 years together, or 3 places together. I mean, 3 places together.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. And again, you can see it when people are comfortable with each other and stuff. You can definitely see it.
Oh yeah.
I feel like there's a bunch of stuff happening in the chat. Every once in a while I look over there and I see, I'm trying not to look, but hopefully I'm not missing anything.
No, it's Kyle correcting me. That's all you're missing.
Oh, okay. Well, if I did miss something important, people, make sure when we get over there, make sure that you remind me if it's something important that somebody was talking about that happened. Make sure you remind me of it, please. Otherwise, I go back and look at the stream sometimes to read, what people are saying, but
yeah.
I just don't want to miss anything important. Okay, so let's shift into the hobbies now, because I know you're very artistic. I think everybody does now. We've seen your art. You donated some of the art for Vinay's auction. A lot of people have, I shouldn't say a lot. There's a few people that have pieces of your art. And it's amazing. It's amazing. So talk about your other hobbies, though. Let's start with stuff that's maybe not the creative stuff. What do you like to do that's not really artistic? Is there anything, or is that where you live with your hobbies? What kind of stuff you like?
I am one of those like super eclectic people, so I'm into a lot of stuff. So there's my art that I enjoy. I used to sing when I was in school. I was part of chorus. I was part of the church chorus. I was a soloist in both. And then I'm always a soloist.
I said soulless.
No, soloist.
What? Soloist.
Soloist. Yeah, I was a soloist in both.
Okay.
And then I kind of drifted away from that for a long time because I had a horrible chorus teacher in high school and I hated him and he just ruined it for me.
Gotcha. Yeah.
But I'm starting to gravitate back toward it. And I love anime.
Yes, I knew this. Yeah.
I love anime.
If you had to pick just one, I know that's so hard. What's your current favorite? I
knew you were going to ask that.
Just the current.
Current favorite is going to be Demon Slayer.
Okay. Don't know that I've ever watched. I haven't watched much of it. My wife and kids are real into it, but
So good.
I mean, I don't have anything against it, but I was always a comic book reader. And so,
Mm-hmm.
the manga and stuff I wasn't really into. But I mean, I watched Naruto and, Dragon Ball and all of those with the kids. So Demon Slayer, that's your
Yeah.
current favorite. And that is one that's currently going on right now? Or okay.
Now, favorite overall, just because nostalgia, Dragon Ball. Like
Original Dragon Ball or just the whole thing?
So I'm a Goku hater.
Okay.
I'm like a massive Goku hater. I'm a Vegeta fangirl. So like it's Z or Super or bust. Goku annoys the ever living fuck out of me because he's so stupid.
Just the one thing I don't like about anime, and this is probably gonna upset people, but I always feel like, and this happens in other genres too, but in anime it's very prevalent, is that you fight, you fight the big bad guy, and it's so hard, and you defeat him finally after so many trials and tribulations. You defeat the big bad guy, and then you find out, oh, he wasn't the big bad guy. There was somebody bigger and badder behind him. And it's just the next level. And then you got to do the same thing over again. And then they reveal the same thing later on. It seems to be a common trope in it, is that it just...
Yeah. It's formulaic.
It drives me crazy. It drives me crazy.
Especially with shonen anime, which is all the fighting ones. Shonen can be very, very formulaic, and that's the one reason why I say Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Ball Super. And I looked at the chat. Fuck GT, Jenna. You know this. GT is stupid. It's non-canon. Anyway, nostalgia-wise, it makes it my favorite. But if you want to go for like, it's a good story, it breaks the formulas, Demon Slayer 100%.
Gotcha. My wife watches all the really weird ones too, where the guy's like a vegetable chef and the vegetables talk to him or something. I don't know. She watches all those crazy ones. I'm like, all I know is baka. That's all I ever hear.
Yep, idiot. Baka.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's blasphemy. Look, everybody's getting upset.
It's all good.
I don't know, Myrtle. I was just making something up because I swear there's been one where there was like a guy, I watched something, he was like cutting up vegetables, but they talked, and I swear she watches a lot of those weird ones, but if it's got a good sense of humor, I'll watch it. If it's got a good story, that's the kind of stuff I like. And it doesn't have to be those the fighting ones, which reminds me, I think we have some of the magazine. Do you have any interest in that? In the actual magazines? They're probably 20 years old. Would you want those? Would you have any interest in those?
Sure.
Shonen Jump or something like that?
Shonen Jump, yeah, heck yeah.
Is that what it's called?
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure we still have them, and if we do, there is probably 20 of them. Each one's about, so they're pretty good sized. And
oh yeah.
If you're interested, if you'd like them, I'll make sure to get them over to you.
Yeah, I mean, because Dragon Ball.
I'm not sure. I tried to give them away a few times, and nobody wanted them. Kids were done with them.
I'll take them.
I still have them. I might have thrown them away. I hate to say it, but I might have, because at some point I try to get rid of stuff.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Okay. Big into anime. Do we cover all the hobbies? Art wise, you're really into, well, just everything. You're a creator.
Yeah. Art wise, yeah. I like Prismacolor. I use all the time. Graphite is probably my specialty. I hate painting. I will, if you try to give me a brush and paints, I will throw it back in your face and tell you to fuck off, because I hate it. I can't control it. It's just
Christmas present, Kyle.
It's the detail thing. Like, I need to be able to have minute control over everything, and that's my OCD. But video making my content, I'm all in, man. Like, it's creativity to the max.
Yep.
I love it.
You're one of those. You're one of those. You're an editor.
Yeah, I mean, journalism. I was editor in chief for junior and senior year. I was editor in chief for journalism. I love to write. I love to write a lot of stuff, different things. I used to have a political blog that I wrote for, and before that, I used to have just like a regular private blog that I would just write various passages in.
Fanfic? Any fanfic stuff?
Every now and again, if I feel into it,
My
I'll.
daughter's written some of that kind of stuff, especially I think Supernatural was her one she wrote for. It wasn't weird. It wasn't,
Nice.
but she did some of those because some of those can get a
Oh
little
yeah.
out there.
Oh
They're a
yeah.
little, yeah, yeah.
No. Not like that. But I love to write. I love to read, and I spend a lot of time. Like y'all are gonna think I'm so freaking boring with this. Political nonfiction, political fiction, and historical nonfiction and fiction are my favorite, and then
Okay.
fantasy.
I was going to go there, and fantasy,
Mm-hmm.
which those have some in common in some realms.
Yeah.
Political, and fantasy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that does sound. I mean, I like to read too, and I do like history. I read a lot of. I like a lot of alternative history stuff. Weird.
Mm-hmm.
What was the series 1642? I think it was where there was a town here that the whole entire town, including like their power plant and everything, was sent back to 1642 in Europe.
Yeah.
It's a wacky concept, but it's fun. It's a fun read because of all this. They changed history.
Yeah. I read a lot of Buddhist psychology books, Thich Nhat Hanh, that type of stuff, because I practice. I also read a lot of Japanese history. I consider myself basically like a Japanophile. I love anything about Japan. I love studying their history, the samurai,
The
Sengoku
tentacle. No,
period.
no, no.
Like, it's just, I love Japan. One day I want to go there. One freaking day I will make it to
Yeah,
Japan.
it's weird how I shouldn't say weird. You are older than my oldest son is 30, so you're not too much older than him. So I guess I would say he's your generation, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
But it's weird how much Japanese culture has branded that generation. There
Hmm.
was definitely a ton of it. There's a lot of people like yourself that are just very, very interested in the culture and the history and everything about Japan.
Yeah. So my love of it was actually because my mom lived in Misawa for 4 years, because my grandfather is also a Marine.
Gotcha.
So he retired as full bird colonel, but they spent 4 years in Misawa, Japan. And so my mom can speak a little Japanese. My grandmother was able to speak Japanese, and she actually used to work for Sony teaching English.
Oh,
And so that was pretty cool to hear. I get all the stories basically from my mom now. I used to get them from my grandmother, but she passed in
yeah.
2019. And I think that was me and my grandmother's thing, was Japan. And she had me on the edge of my seat just listening to all these stories. And
Yeah. It wasn't the anime. The anime came later
mhm.
after
Yeah.
you already had the affinity for it because of your grandma and grandpa. Okay.
Yes.
Gotcha. I was
Yes.
curious if that was the case, because I think with because my kids don't have any relationship to Japan in any way, but they also but I think their route was anime. I think that, and I think there was a lot of kids like them.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I know. I have quite a few friends who that was anime was the gateway, and then they got into other aspects of Japanese culture. Um, but for me, like, even so, cooking. I love to cook.
Yeah.
I've got a beautiful cookbook with authentic Japanese recipes in it, and I have several recipes that have been passed down to me from my mom and my grandmother that they actually got from the Japanese nanny who used to babysit my mom and my uncle.
Nice. And what kind of I love sushi. I just absolutely, there's no kind of sushi I've ever, you don't know.
I don't
Absolutely
like
love
fish.
I absolutely love it. And I've never had bad sushi. I mean that bad sushi is not bad sushi. I mean, like,
Yeah.
I just don't care for that. I've never once. I just absolutely love it's. If I had to pick one food to eat for the rest of my life, it would be sushi. I absolutely love it.
Kyle will join you with that, but I am not a fish. I don't like fish,
No,
except
will you
for
make it for him?
I would
Have you
make
made
it
it
for
for
him.
him? Yeah,
I haven't made it for him, but I would. But like for me, I make a lot of katsudon, which is fried pork with a special sauce, and then egg broken over it, and you usually serve it with white rice. I'll make a lot of yakitori, which is just basically grilled chicken on a skewer, and it's covered in this really nice, like sweet and salty, sticky sauce, yakitori sauce. I know how to, yeah, I know how to make authentic Japanese rice. I buy nishiki is the only white rice I will ever buy. I love to make all of that stuff. Like my private Instagram is covered in photos of food that I make all the time. I love to cook. I love to bake. I told you, I'm into everything. I love to do a lot of stuff.
Now I'm hungry. I told you I wasn't going to eat dinner tonight. Why'd we have to go there? Why'd we have to go to that?
Sorry.
Something about raw fish turns me off, you know, but there's so many different kinds, and it's just, you know, even like, I mean, salmon. Anyways, all right, we'll forget about that. Peplin's been a member for 6 months. He's saying Beccs, hi. I'm trying to get those just in case the, you know, super chats or the member things pop up there. Any other major hobbies that stick out that you want to tell us about? Anything that's a big part of your life other than fish tube?
So I haven't been doing this recently because of my rib, where I, you know, popped it out and all that fun stuff. And I'm slowly working back to this, but Kyle and I are big hikers, and we like to mountaineer. So we like to climb 14ers out here in Colorado.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of fun, but it's one of those where 14ers are challenging mentally and physically. And we've done 4. I did 2 in one day, which is Grays and Tories. And holy crap. Like, if I'm surprised Kyle's still alive.
Because you wanted to kill him, or because of just
I wanted to kill him. So I start off when we're hiking 14ers. We've got 20-pound pack on usually. It's got our water bladder. It's got, you know, food and extra everything, because the weather can change like that when you're up, you know, on higher elevation. The weather, the mountains create their own weather systems. And the thing is the number one killer on a 14er is lightning.
Oh,
so
interesting.
We would be on the road by 2 a.m. Yeah, we would be on the road by 2 a.m. We would be at the trailhead by like 3 or 4, so that we could be to the summit and on our way back down by noon. Because if you're not, those thunderstorms are going to roll in and you're going to get struck by lightning. Because that's just you out there. There's nothing else. You're past tree line. So
the 14s are 14ers. It's actual mountain climbing you're using, right? It's not just a hike up a steep hill.
Some of them are like that.
Okay, because that's how they are here. We have the 46ers, because there's 46 peaks in the Adirondacks that are above whatever the cutoff is, 3,000, 4,000, which obviously nothing like Colorado, but it's still same idea at least. And they're hikes. Some of them are a little steep, but you can hike them all. Yeah. So some of them are that way, and some are actual.
So, okay, the ones we've done, because I refuse to go technical, you have classes, class 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Class 1 is usually long, grueling, but pretty easy hike. Class 2, you have a little bit more exposure. So you're a lot closer to edges, to 1,000+ foot drops on things like you're having to traverse saddles between mountains. Class 3, you've got some technical climbing. Class 4 is mainly technical climbing, and Class 5 is all technical climbing. So it gets crazy.
Let me interrupt you real quick. So Stephen P. with a $20 super chat, dude. Thank you. Best focus on ever, in my completely unbiased opinion. Thank you very much. Oh, and Sandy upgraded to the top level. Thanks, Sandy. Appreciate people being a member. We do have a Discord for members only now. Steve and I are sharing it, but it's going to expand. I know Alex from the Secret History is interested. His members are going to be on there, and a bunch of others. So I don't want to talk about that too much tonight, but it's cool. In my community tab, there's a little bit about it. It's a cool thing. It's a way for us all to communicate, and we're hopefully going to tie in a whole bunch of channels. So those channels that don't have well, Alex has a ton of people, and I don't want to say he's a silo because he's out there doing stuff all over the place, but a lot of his people aren't. So we'll get to meet a lot of his members on the thing too. Okay, sorry. Didn't mean to do a commercial right in the middle of it.
You're good, Rico.
Okay, so you've got all these different types, and you prefer just to do the...
I will do up to class 3.
Okay.
Class 3 is my cutoff. So the ones we've done are mainly class 1s and class 2s. The only class 3 I think we've done is grays and tories. If you do grays or tories by themselves, I think they're a 1 and a 2. But if you do them together because you're traversing the saddle between them, it becomes a 3.
Okay, gotcha. That makes sense.
Yeah, so it's the routes. It's the routes that matter. And there's multiple routes you can take. And sometimes it can get a little dangerous and confusing. And you really need to be careful when you're doing 14ers. But I digress. So we start to do grays and no, you know what? I'll do Bierstadt. Bierstadt was the first one we ever did. We're climbing. I'm all happy. I'm like, yeah, this is exciting. We're doing a 14er. This is really cool. We start to get about halfway there. I'm starting to slow down. And I'm just like, man, this is getting hard. I can do this though. I can do this. Like I was pushing myself. And then we get to basically the boulder field. And that's where the trail can get a little tricky. And right now I can guarantee you Kyle's back in that bedroom going, oh shit, here she goes. So Mr. Kyle back there is all, I'm an Eagle Scout. I'm an Eagle Scout. I can read, topography maps, whatever.
Yeah. Blah, blah, blah. Orienteering and everything.
Yeah. No. I looked at that map and I had the first time I'd ever used a topographical map to navigate. And I looked at him and I said, that is not the summit, Kyle. And he said, yeah, it is. And I said, no, it's not. Look right here. I said, that is a false summit. The summit is still way up there. No, it's not. No, it's not. Guess who was right? We got up to that freaking summit and I was like, see, I told you, you son of a bitch. And then we start going down, and down is the worst part. Down sucks because your knees are tired, they're hurting, your back is hurting, your legs wants to go out from underneath of you because you've been working so hard to climb these freaking mountains. And at that point, I turn into mega bitch Beccs. And I'm like,
now, obviously, you guys have been together for a few years. Roughly, how long ago was this?
This was 2015.
So you had been married for 2 years. Mm-hmm. Still pretty new. That's damn new relationship. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So and this is his first experience with
Megabit Beccs.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So we're on our way down, and I'm just like, fuck this. Why is the sun shining? Why is the sun shining so fucking bright? I am fucking over this. And a total meltdown. And bless his heart, he's just like, it's okay, honey. It's okay. Do you want me to carry you? I'll carry you. Do you want me to carry your pack? It'll be okay. And I'm like, fuck off. I don't want to leave me alone. Like,
sorry, excuse me.
It was bad.
So, see, it's too bad Kyle wasn't. This is a focus on you, but I wish Kyle was here now because I want to hear his part of that story. I want to hear his, reactions and stuff. So, we'll get that at some point. But, and afterwards, after you got back home or had your candy bar or whatever it was, and came back to yourself, did you realize at that time how you were reacting and stuff? Or did it ever come to you really? You knew, or did you know the whole time?
I knew the whole time. I was mad because we'd be on the way down and I was tired and I knew I was going to be the one driving home because it's my car that can handle the mountain roads and his can't. And he would already be talking about the next fucking 14er. And I'm like, excuse me?
We ain't doing this again.
No. And I would say that every time. I'm like, I'm not doing another fucking 14er. I'm done. And sure as shit, the next day, I'm like, when's our next one? I was just ready. So now he knows, just let me bitch. Just let me bitch as we're going down the mountain.
Did you ever apologize to him?
Maybe.
I'm sure you've made it up to him.
So our thing was the night before we would carb load. So we would have this big freaking bowl of spaghetti so that we would have enough energy to be able to get going. And then the night when we would come home from climbing the 14er, it was always a big ass greasy Marco's pizza and cheesy bread and everything we could add on. And if there was a way that we could have the Marco's guy actually come into the apartment and just hand it to us while we're laying in bed, we totally would have done that. Because at that point, we couldn't move because we were so sore.
But you climbed a mountain, and that's just my Tuesday and Wednesday. I mean,
Yeah, so. I climbed two in one day.
Yeah. Which is, I don't climb any mountains, just climbing in and out of bed. And, I still do that carb load and everything, but I don't use the energy. Roxanne, hello. She says Beccs, and I can't see all the different, it's a party one and a whole bunch of different ones there. And of course, snails at the end, but she's basically just saying, love you.
Love you, Roxanne.
And Kelly Foreman coming in late, but hot. Okay.
Kelly always coming in hot.
You know what? We're actually an hour and 10 minutes into it.
Holy crap.
So let me think. Is there anything that really, well, first of all, how about you? Is there anything that you want to tell people? Anything that you want to get out there? Anything that you want to let people know about that you've done or that we didn't touch on?
I don't think so. I think other than my last hobby would be video games. I loved me playing some PlayStation 4.
We didn't even touch on that.
Yeah, I love playing PlayStation 4, God of War, like the newer one. Man, I can't wait for the next one to come out. I know it's for PS5. Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, even though it was disappointing, it was still a fun game. I love all the old school games. The only reason why I have a Wii U is so that I can play Zelda 64, Ocarina of Time, and all, like Mario 64 and all the old school games. That is the only reason why I have a Wii U. And Pokemon. I love playing Pokemon.
Yeah. RPGs are that's where I live. RPGs are my thing. I love a good, deep RPG that's got a great story and is an open world that I can play how I want. And I can take my time because I go look at everything. I explore every little bit and look at everything. And I like to spend my time and really be, just engaged in it and immersed in it. And but I'm a Xbox gamer. It used to be PC, for decades. I mean, my very first video game that I played on a PC was in like 1978, Temple of Apshai, 79, 78, something like that. So
nice.
All until there's a fly in here. Until maybe last, I don't know, probably not quite 10 years, but up until then.
Yeah, I love.
So what's your favorite right now? What's your favorite game right now?
God of War.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know that I've played any of them. I know Michelle did, but I don't know that I've played any of them.
It's a beautiful game. And that's my thing is I want to be immersed. And if it has these great, beautiful graphics and a really good, rich story, and I get to hack the hell out of things, then I'm happy. I'm not a first-person shooter type. I hate them. They make me sick because I get motion sickness really bad.
Yep.
But as long as it's not a first-person point of view, man, God of War, I was so happy. Fallen Order, Jedi Fallen Order, that was so good.
I didn't like it. I didn't care for it. I barely played any of it. Here's the thing, though. It felt to me like a platformer. I don't like platform games anymore because I have a hard time with jumping and stuff these days. My hands don't work as well as they used to. So it's difficult for me to, and that's what Jedi Fallen Order felt like to me, was like a platformer, even though it was 3D. So much jumping just right and hitting things. And I just, it was too much. So I definitely need to get a new Xbox though. That's what, that's coming soon. That's my next thing I'm buying myself. Nice. Okay. So what about anything coming up? You got anything coming up that you can talk about that's in the next week or so? Or
within the next week. Within the next week, actually within the next 2 or 3 days, I will have another unboxing. Because I got some cute little chili raspberries today.
Yeah.
And they came in from Dan, and they came in beautifully shipped. I mean, their water was literally 78 degrees, even though it was 30 degrees out. Absolutely amazing. And they all look so good, and they're in their quarantine tank. So I'll have an unboxing for that coming out. And then I'm planning probably a Coolie Loach care guide at some point. So I've got a couple things that I'm working on, at least content wise. And then I also have art stuff going on because I've got to get enough going for the Clash because I'll be selling prints, but I want to make sure that I have a good variety. So
that's Eduardo, we'll get to that. We'll get to Eduardo's question in just a minute because I'm going to open it up to the chat. So we'll start off with Eduardo's in just a second. I had to look and see where my still in transit. Yeah, I don't think I'm getting my autos.
That sucks.
Yeah. Oh well. I don't want to talk about that now. Yeah. Where was I at? So you got a couple things coming up. There is something very, very cool that I'm a party to. That's happening soon, soonish. With a lot of different people involved as well. It's going to be very cool. And also the I Am a Snail thing with a net. I noticed that you've got that thumbnail up there on the top left of your screen. A nail, a net. I get a net and this I'm a snail together, and it was a nail. A net has a really cool promotion going on for I Am a Snail for the month of May. You're going to see a bunch of stuff, on different channels involved, and yeah.
Yep.
That's going to be very cool. So, all right, let's open it up to the chat. And our first one was from Eduardo.
Okay.
And again, people, if you would please, now can you see the chat? Okay.
Oh yeah, I've got it popped out, and I have StreamYard side. So
I will feed you questions, but if I miss one or there's something that you want to jump to, feel free to answer it. So we'll start with Eduardo. Question for you: what is your dream vacation spot, and which 5 people would you like to meet in person? And those 5 I'm going to take that Eduardo's question and say, they don't have to be like Fish Fan, but just people. Which 5 people in the world who have ever lived? But first of all, what's your dream vacation spot?
Japan. I would love, Nara. I want to go see the Nara deer. I would love to go to Kyoto and see the old temples, because I do practice Buddhism. I would love it. Everything. I just eat my way through Japan, and I don't want to see the cities. I want to see the old buildings, the countryside, the historical side of Japan.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So which 5 people would you like to meet in person?
Okay. So
that's tough. I mean, maybe Eduardo did mean it just mean from our community, but I took it to mean just 5 people ever.
Okay. Well, I'm going to do 5 people ever. So just because I think that he's an amazing historical figure, Winston Churchill, I would really enjoy to meet. Most of these are probably going to be historical. So Winston Churchill, FDR, World War II is one of my favorite times of history to study, period. I've been obsessed with World War II forever. I would love to meet Akira Toriyama so that I can beat the ever-living shit out of him for ruining Dragon Ball, because he's just taking it too far. So that's 3. I would, let's see. Who else would I want to meet? I gotta think about this for a second. It's like, do I want to be intellectual or do I just want to be basic?
Be basic. Be basic.
Shakespeare, William Shakespeare, I would enjoy to meet. And I would love to go back and meet, even though he was a son of a bitch, Oda Nobunaga.
I don't know who that is.
Oda Nobunaga is a samurai warlord. Yep.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Kelly Foreman says, when I come to Colorado, where are we going hiking? Anywhere she wants.
Yeah. I'll take you anywhere, Kelly. You just tell me how difficult you want it to be.
And here's Myrtle's question. That again, he's asked. I'm not sure how many we've done. We're in the 60s. We've done 60 some focus-ons, and Myrtle has asked this question, and at least 99% of those. So if you could change one thing about me, what would it be? And if I could change one thing about you, I'm gonna go first.
Okay.
I have no friggin' idea. I don't know. I was gonna touch on the story that you shared on the Hot Mess Express, and say that something like that never happened to you, but at the same time, our past is what makes us who we are today. So, would you be the same person today? I mean, you don't want anything bad to happen to anybody ever, right?
Yeah.
But it's still, I don't know. It's a good question. It's a great question.
Trial through adversity.
How about that you will bring the stuff and cook for us at the Keystone Clash? There's my answer. Talk about basic. All right.
If I could change one thing about Rico, it would be that anytime somebody says Rico is awesome, he wouldn't frickin' argue.
I mean, come on. It's difficult. You don't just, cheat answer, Myrtle said. It's hard. I don't just, anyways. Okay. I'll do my best.
Oh, man.
Okay. I'm looking for more questions. Oh, it jumped on me. I see a lot of comments, but I'm not seeing.
Obstacle course, I will spectate. I thought I saw one from Barbara.
Steven said, Kelly, we can hike around the Airbnb in Kentucky.
Okay, yeah, I did see one from Barbara.
Barbara Jackson?
Yes.
Feel free. Yep, jump in.
Okay. So Barbara Jackson asked, what are my top 5 places in Japan that I'd want to visit? And bonus question, which area of Japan would you live in? Okay, so that's kind of hard for me to answer because I literally would love to see everywhere and I would have a hard time choosing. I know that for sure my top 2 are going to be Kyoto and Nara. Outside of that, like, you'd be hard pressed to get me to plan the other places, and Kyle's going to have to literally drag me away more than likely. I would do Tokyo just because I feel like you have to. Like, if you're going to go to Japan, you have to go to Tokyo. But for me, like, I would spend most of my time, and if I had to live there, I would live in countryside Japan, like nowhere near the cities. I want the old Japan. I don't want the new technological, Tokyo bullet trains. That's not the side I'm interested in. I want to see.
You're just upset because you can buy panties from a vending machine and you feel like they took the job.
They do have quite a few interesting vending machines.
They do. They have all of it. You can buy everything. You can buy a vending machine in a vending machine.
Yeah.
You can buy people from a vending machine.
Yeah.
Rent people. Shouldn't say buy.
Yes, rent.
All right. So I'm just scrolling down. I'm looking for. There we go. Whizzle. What's your favorite Pokemon?
From Whizzle, you know this dude. It's Gengar.
Yeah.
Gengar. Gengar all the way.
Which one's Gengar?
Gengar is a ghost.
Okay.
He's a purple, kind of pointy ear looking.
And why? Why is he your favorite?
Because he's flipping cute, and ghost type is amazing.
I know nothing other than, my kids are big into it. I did play Pokemon Go for a very, very short time, but I don't mind the Pokemon part of it. The Go part of it, I have a problem with. Mark says, is Beccs going to do a regular live stream? Well, you're on Streaming McStreamy quite often. Mm-hmm. You're basically a co-host. Is that official? Mm-hmm. Is that official? I mean, you guys are on there. You, Annette, Jenna, and Steven are pretty much the... What about are you thinking about your own, though, live streams?
I don't know, because I really enjoy being up with Steven and Jenna and Annette. Yeah. I don't know if I would want to do a live stream just by myself. If I did do one, I would probably have a co-host. But I like kind of what I'm doing right now. I've got so many things on my plate that between my channel, creating content, actually taking care of said fish, the content is about, art, all of that. It's a lot. So if I added another live stream on top of the Steamy McStreamy crew, that would be a lot.
And I feel like you couldn't really do, I shouldn't say couldn't. You wouldn't want to do like I do, like Afternoon Delight. That's not your type of live stream. You would like to have a topic and be more organized with it. And you're not a fly by the seat of your pants type of person. That's just what I get from.
I can be, and I like the hangout. I feel like I would try to make like a mix. I would want it to be kind of like Steamy McStreamy, like how we're starting to have topics and all now. I would want something like that where maybe we start with a topic, and that doesn't always necessarily mean that we're not going to meander somewhere else.
Yeah. It's always good to have that freedom just to go where the conversation takes you. I had a song stuck in my head there. Oz never did give nothing to the Tin Man. Did you see the one from Myrtle? Beaks. If you had to choose one color to use as your primary color in your art, what would it be? You can use others, but only minimally. So that most of your art blue. Which blue? Good choice.
Because I can make a lot of other colors with blue. So, but I like blue. I don't know.
Blue is the best color. I mean, that's all there is to it.
I mean, I love pink. Don't get me wrong. I love pink, but
blue is the best.
Blue, yeah, blue for sure. And I saw a comment from Barbara from Barbara Jackson that I wanted. Yeah, I actually am aware of that, Barbara. She said some rural areas in Japan are paying people to move there, foreign folks included. I should look into it. They need more people living in the countryside. I actually have one of my old best friends from high school who just got out of the Navy, and his wife is Japanese. He met her when he was stationed in Japan, and they have now just moved back to Japan with the family, and that's exactly what they did. It's really cool.
That's sort of amazing to me because I know a lot of the Tokyo is overpopulated. There's so many people that live in the area. It just seems like they would have plenty of people that would jump at that. Now, and this is something I don't know. This is always something I've heard. I've never, ever looked into it. I don't know how true it is at all. Again, just something I heard. But the Japanese people are very xenophobic, is what I've always understood. Is that true, or are they pretty welcoming to foreigners?
So I have heard both. I and my family, when they lived over there, they have experienced both. So it seems
just like any place else.
Yeah, it seems more toward the women that they are a little bit more welcoming and open, and that's just their culture is to be welcoming, open, helpful, things like that. But towards men, it's a little bit different, and they have a big thing too. It's starting to kind of get better, but they have a very big thing with tattoos. So if you go over there and you have tattoos like I do, you're better off covering them if you can, because they find it to be a little bit offensive because they associate that with the Yakuza. The Yakuza are usually covered in tattoos. So it's an association. In fact, a lot of onsens, which is public baths, will not allow you to go in if you have tattoos.
You know, the one thing that I can say is that, and again, only nothing I've ever experienced, just something I've always heard, is that, they're so much more respectful of their elderly. And a lot of you people need to learn that.
They are. They absolutely are. And that's part of my fascination with it too, is the culture to me is so much more, I don't know, they're all about school and family and learning, and they're the elders of the family, and to me it's richer. Like they learn their own culture before they learn anything else. I don't know, there's just something about it that I just maybe I was Japanese in former life, I don't know, but I love it. I love all of it.
Scotty, best memory so far in the Fish Fam?
Best memory so far in the Fish Fam. Okay. I got to think about this for a second. All right. Can I have two? Because they're tied. The first one would be the very first day.
He said memory, so as many as you want.
Okay. The very first day that Rico pushed my channel. That was like, oh my God, Rico knows who I am.
Jesus, really?
Yeah.
You guys are fucking weird.
Yeah, like it made my day. You can totally ask Kyle. It made my day. And then probably the second best memory I have is when I got the email from Steven about the interview for Hey Fish Tube. And I was sitting on the couch with my mom and Kyle, and I literally was like, oh my gosh, I have an email from Steven. And at that point, the only email I had really had was, hey, can I have some stickers? And then I see in the title, Interview McInterviewee. And that's when I'm like, oh, what's this? And
that's hilarious because I use that same when I send to people, interviewee. Anyways, sorry, being an interruption.
Yeah, but no, I was like totally at that point, I was totally stoked because I was like, oh my God, Steve wants me to come up and he and Jenna want to do an interview. That's so cool. And like, I don't know, it was probably the newness of it just made it
nice.
Easily.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's heartwarming. And Scotty's taking from Eduardo's top 5 fish fam she wants to meet.
Oh God, don't make me do that.
That is tough, but I'm going to answer for you because I know for a fact that you and Stephen and Jenna and Annette and who am I leaving out? You guys hang out a lot, I should say. You guys do the stream together. I feel like I'm leaving somebody out that doesn't do the stream, but also is very. So I've got to say that those 3 are probably at least very, very high on your list.
Oh yeah, and I mean people like you and Myrtle and
so many.
Just like you just can't choose everybody. Oh. I want to meet everybody. Right? Oh no.
Come here, buddy. Old Tuck, he's having a rough day.
Oh.
He's I think he's got a little bit of a cold and it's been very humid and it's not good for the old doggy. Let's see. And again, there might be other questions in there that aren't, at Rico Stan. So
yeah, I'm looking.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah. I see. Hold on. I saw a couple here. So Paul Soltero is asking a fish question, which is totally, I think it's cool. And I think he's asking it because he knows what I'm going to say. And that is a 200-gallon with discus is like the tank one day.
What is it about discus that just how they look? Just
they're beautiful. They are beautiful fish. I mean, they're beautiful dinner plates, and they're just little dinner plates that big dinner plates that swim, and they look pretty all together, and they're just gorgeous.
They are beautiful fish.
Absolutely gorgeous.
So again, I apologize to anybody that's asked some questions and I didn't see them. If you don't do the at Rico Stan, there's so many people. Well, there's 82 people watching, so appreciate that so much. If I've missed some of the questions, please do the at Rico Stan and ask them again for me. Or Beccs can see it too, so you can direct them right to Beccs as well.
Yeah, I can see them. Like there's one from Carlos right here, from Carlos Diaz.
Yeah.
Of all the life lessons I've learned, which one do you wish you did not have to learn? Probably be careful who you trust.
Yeah. That's exactly how I was going to put it.
Be careful who you trust. 100%. Yeah. And if you have any question what I'm talking about, watch Sherry, Mississippi Hippie Fishies. Watch her stream that she had me on as a guest from, I think, 2 Saturdays ago now, and it'll explain that. I don't really want to go back into it. But
it was 2 weeks ago, wasn't it? Jesus, yeah. I thought it was just last week. But yeah, you're right. It was 2 Saturdays.
Yeah, and then I see another one from Miss Brookley, same that she asked last week.
Yep.
Do I have any weird talents physically? Again, not a naughty question, like double jointed gymnastic stuff or whatever. I need to figure out a better wording for this one. I don't, Brookley. I don't. I really don't. I guess I can
wiggle your ears or flare your nostrils or do weird.
Nope. I can't do anything. I can't do anything weird like that. No. I cannot. And she goes back to lurking. I'm scrolling.
Double jointed gymnast sounds naughty. Naughty is not the word I would use. My interest has been piqued. Scotty the Fish Freak. I didn't know they never met. Oh, with you and Steven and yeah. Not yet. Triple Crown will be. You're going no. Keystone Clash. You're not going to the Triple Crown. Keystone Clash will be the first place you guys meet.
Yep.
First place we'll meet. First place a lot of us will be meeting.
Yep. We got Mark's question. And I'm looking here.
See it? Yep.
We got his.
So that's I don't know if you even want to answer that one. I know a couple of them myself, but he said so. He's asking top 5 fish fan people she does not want to meet.
Oh yeah, I'm staying far away from that one.
Yeah,
far away. Yeah,
I'm gonna just mute here for a minute.
Yeah. No, Paul, that's a perfect way to put it. Discus or cichlids without the drama. I can completely agree with that. Scotty, everyone has inspirational people they want to meet, not just because they are favorite. Yep. 100%. Let's see. Yeah, hit me up with questions, guys. I'm pretty much an open book, other than things that I talked about on Sherry's stream that I just don't want to go over again. Like other than that, I am an open book for sure. Oh, I see one from Whip. If what Beccs isn't doing right now isn't her dream gig, what would be the top of mountain things she'd want to do if the opportunity arose? Oh, that's a hard one, Whip. That is a very, very hard one. Okay. Even though I said that I didn't want to work in politics, I love watching political shows. And every time I watch political shows, there is always a part of me that goes, what if? And if I were ever given the opportunity to be a speechwriter for the White House, I would do it. 100%.
Hi Vibes. Hi everybody else too that came in. Again, thanks so much. There's 83 people currently watching. Thank you guys so much for coming in and learning more about Beccs. And again, if your question was not answered, we are at the bottom of the chat, so feel free to pop it in there again and either highlight one of our names so that we can see it. And let's see. We had streams going at the same time as us. That happens always on Tuesday nights. Unfortunately, it's been that way for a long time. I know Wizzle, you had a stream going, right? Or you still do? Or Hippie John will be on tonight with Steven too on Hey Fish Tube. What time? Is it? Did you move it to 9 p.m.? Steven, do you know? I can't remember what time it is. 9 p.m. Eastern Standard?
I think it's 9:30 Central.
Okay.
Don't quote me. I can't think right.
Yeah. And you could find it on fishfam.link.
Yeah.
Alex, Secret History is going right now, I believe. Susan had a stream. Geez, I hope I'm not forgetting anybody. And then at 9 o'clock we have Bentley Pasco. So a lot of cool streams. And what was it? What set you off?
Oh, we just got like a flurry of questions. So first of all, Josh, as in like Metalhead, at Rico Stand at the Keystone Clash, will I get to meet Kyle? And if so, will he get it when I yell Kyle like Hartman? Yes.
Kyle.
Yes to both. Yes to both, Josh. Then I saw, let's see.
Scotty, Fish Freak. Any plans / dreams for art business? Well, you sort of, you're going to be selling a lot of you're going to be doing prints and original work at the Keystone Clash, right? Mm-hmm. Now, have you thought about entering anything into the show? Not the auction, but into the show. Yeah. They do have a category. Are you going to be doing that?
Probably. And it would be, I would enter originals in that.
Yeah.
I'll probably want to do that. I've actually had my art business for a while. I do commission work a lot, and I do a lot of pet portraits. And I've done some family portraits. It's all on my Instagram. You can check it out for sure. But I've done commissions now for several years. I just took a break from that for personal reasons. When I lost my grandmother, I just could not. I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
But
I
I've
can tell
had
you
my
one thing Beccs will not draw is Dwight from The Office in the sorting hat from Harry Potter wearing a Greta Van Fleet t-shirt, because those are three of my daughter's favorite things, and it was just too out there. It was just too out there, right? It was just too
whimsy.
wacky.
Whimsy is not in my wheelhouse.
Yeah.
I'm sure I could do it, but I probably would not feel comfortable or confident. But
you would need a picture of that or something to at least get an idea of.
Yeah, because I tend to do, which I've done. I've taken, several photos of different things and thrown them all together in one drawing before. I do that all the time. But the whimsy of it, I'm like, holy crap, I do like hyper realism.
and I wasn't upset in any way. I was just trying to think of something original I could get for my daughter for her birthday. And we turned out we got her that mug thing for the cricket instead. So she's going to be making mugs for us. Scuba Steve, do you ever consider coming to the U.S. for an event like the ACA Keystone? Oh yeah, she's going to be at.
I'll be at Keystone. I'll be at Keystone Clash.
Ever consider coming to the U.S. for? I mean, she's in Colorado. I'm not sure, because you have a typo there, and I'm not sure, Scuba Steve, but she's in Colorado, and she will be at the Keystone Clash. And that's your only event this year that you guys are planning, you said, right?
Yeah, because it's hard to get time off for Kyle's job and the expense of it. So, we've kind of saved up for it. We wanted to do the Triple Crown, but we just could not get the time off.
I wanted to go too. And I believe Scuba Steve will be at the he is going to the Triple Crown, but I believe he might be going to the Keystone Clash, right, Steve? I believe you said that. A bunch of people are going to be there. So many. The metalheads are going to be. Just so many people.
Yeah.
Mark Stolson wants to know your opinions on the West Wing.
I love it. I'm actually binging it for like the 5th time right now. So, like as soon as we're done with the stream, like that's going to be my night. Is me and Kyle back in the room just watching some West Wing. So
I've never watched it. I don't do dramas at all, really. Very few. They have to be at least sci-fi related or adjacent. Because sci-fi, fantasy, and lowbrow humor. And lowbrow humor is where I live. That's my main place. People asking about Monty Python.
Oh yeah, I'm a big Monty Python fan. Like both
Myrtle
Kyle and I
your favorite?
Holy Grail, without a doubt. Holy Grail.
Holy Grail, yeah, for sure. But Life of Brian's up there. Meaning of Life, I also really like. When the guy explodes, that it's with a thin, you give him the mint and he just you just don't see that kind of stuff. Dennis Christensen wants to know what branch of Buddhism you follow.
So I do a little mix of Zen and Jodo Shinshu is what I typically follow. I actually have gone to temple. There's a temple up in Denver, the Tri-Buddhist or Tri-State area, I think, Buddhist temple. I've been there a couple times for services, but I mainly practice at home. So there's that. And let's see.
Scotty, do you see Scotty's question?
I did not. It keeps jumping
minutes.
on me.
12 minutes. He says, will you be doing a portrait of me at the Clash? Not Titanic style. Titanic style is the only way. I mean, that's the only way it can happen.
Draw me like one of your French girls. That would require me to use charcoal, Scotty, and I hate charcoal. I absolutely hate charcoal. Cannot stand it. I saw one from Regina Phalanges, which, by the way, I love your name.
Yep. Hi, Regina. She's awesome.
Best tattoo artist or artist first. Have you ever thought of trying tattooing? I have had that asked of me several times. In fact, so my artistic talent comes from my dad. My dad is also an artist. He is a painter. And so he takes all of my art when he sees it and shows everybody, which embarrasses the hell out of me. But he's shown it to his tattoo artists and they've said the same thing, like, oh, she should do tattooing. Like, I'm too afraid, man. If I mess up, that's it. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah. My daughter has some, she found a good artist. She has some amazing tattoos. She really does. She really does.
I like tattoos.
Brookley says that sounds more like my sister Claire's style of art.
Yeah. I can agree with that.
You got Regina.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't see. Life of Brian is my second favorite. Life of Brian's a great one.
Mm-hmm. I will say my other favorite movie ever is Lord of the Rings.
Yeah. I can't do that. I can't do that. I like Lord of the Rings. We watch it. We'll watch the series, or not the series. We'll watch the movies. Every once in a while, we'll go back and watch them. And I absolutely love them, but I cannot give you even a top 10. I can't do it. It doesn't matter what the genre is. It doesn't matter. I can never nail down what my favorite is in anything because I like so much stuff. And right now, this is my favorite. Right now, I could listen to this over and over again. I could watch this over and over again. And then tomorrow, it totally changes. It doesn't mean I don't like that stuff still, but.
Yep. I'm the same way. I call them phases or moods, where I'll be in the mood for certain things and then I'll wear myself out on it and I'll move on. But
yeah,
of all of that, Lord of the Rings has stayed true. I have the extended edition on DVD. I refuse to watch the regular editions, extended or bust. And my buddy with Lord of the Rings is Eric. Eric is a big Lord of the Rings fan.
I got to sort of agree with you, but just the whole world itself, because I read the books the first time when I was like 12, and that's a long time ago, and they've always enjoyed it. I've read the book so many times over and over again. Yeah, they're definitely up there.
Yeah, I've read the book so much that the spine is basically falling apart. So, and that's like my crappy version because I collect books. I actually collect like leather-bound gilded page books. I get them off eBay used, and I've actually got several. I've got one signed by Condoleezza Rice. I've got one signed by Colin Powell. I have one signed by Bob Woodward. It's really, really cool, signed, numbered, certificate of authenticity, and I got them, for just by waiting and getting them on eBay, unwrapped and they're still wrapped, and it's really cool. I just love books. I love books.
I got rid of almost everything. I have a meteorology book collection. That's like 250 books. I have field guides. I love field guides, especially the Audubon and stuff like that. I have a bunch of field guides I collect. But I gave away everything. Oh, and I still have all my graphic novels. But I gave away, I had a library. I had just shelves and shelves and shelves, floor to ceiling of mostly paperbacks, mostly. And I just gave them all away. I got rid of all of them. Myrtle says you have to choose between one, snails and the puffers you have right now. Which one will it be? But you should note that snails kill people and puffers have toxins in them, so both are deadly.
You can't make me choose, Myrtle, because here's the problem, right? If you have a puffer, especially a pea puffer, you kind of need snails. So you kind of can't have a puffer without snails. You could, but I need both, man. I can't choose. That's like asking, that is the equivalent of asking me to choose between Steven and Annette. Like literally, because Steven's all about that scootin' fruity and Annette's all about the snails. I can't make that decision.
Did you say scootin' fruity?
Yeah, Shut-a-dun-I puffer. He calls it a scootin' fruity.
I didn't know that. I think Kenny, the painkillers are really kicking in good for him. He did have surgery today, and he says he's doing okay. Same with Skipper. Good. Skipper didn't have surgery, but he did have a shot to really help him. He's been in a lot of pain, and I saw the difference. I really did. I saw the difference. But hoping Kenny has a very quick healing and gets rid of all that pain. But he says, I want a tattoo of Rico on my behind. Every time I take a number 2, he'll look like he's smoking a cigar. That is very wrong and disgusting. And I would not expect anything else from Kenny E.
No.
Mark wants to know if you've ever watched Prime Minister.
I have not, Mark. I have not.
Is that an Australian show?
Yeah, fill us in.
I think because Mark is Australian. It sounds familiar to me, but I don't know it.
Oh, there you go. Kyle said he's going to look for it. He's going to look for it.
Scary Terry, hi there. Harry Potter and Star Wars.
Love those too.
Carlos Diaz says, do you like Samurai Jack or Afro Samurai? I like both of those.
I never watched Samurai Jack.
Afro Samurai is good too, but Samurai Jack I absolutely love.
Yeah, I never watched Samurai Jack, and I have not seen Afro Samurai. If it comes to samurai stuff, I would much rather watch documentary. Now that being said, Samurai Champloo is a fantastic anime. That one I have seen.
That sounds familiar. I think Michelle did watch that.
I love Samurai Champloo.
And I think we're at the bottom of the chat. Real quick, will anybody else has anything else? And again, thanks everybody for hanging out. There's still 74 people watching. Thank you very much. Next week I thought was Alexander Engelhart, but I went back and looked at it, and he's actually the 17th. There's somebody else for next Tuesday, and then the following Tuesday after Alexander will be Paul Cetera.
Nice.
So that's our lineup coming up. Liquid Zoo, Matt is doing a stream with Ed on Wednesdays now. I don't know if Ed is always going to be his guest or not, but that starts tomorrow night at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Again, you can find all that stuff on fishfam.link. Adult Swim, yep, very familiar with it, Paul. Yeah. Yep, very familiar with it.
Heck yeah.
Been a blast. Catch you all on the next one. Thanks, Chad Krotz. Again, anything else before we take off that you want to say, or
just thanks for having me up, Rico. I've been looking forward to this big time. You have no idea. Like when you emailed me, like, "Hey, you want to come on?" I was like, "Oh my god, I get to do Focus On with Rico." Other than that, all of you guys are amazing, and I love all of you, and I appreciate all of you, and thank you so much for being here. Thank you.
Real quick, Terry says, watch the documentary Casino Jack. These lobbyists think they can get away with anything. Casino Jack.
Okay, I'll check it out.
And Whip has a last one. What are your 3 top artists? Artist is so hard. I mean,
yeah. I like
narrow it down a little bit, Whip. Are you talking, music? What type of artist, or just whatever, just any of them? That'll be our last question too. We're going to go with Whips last, and that'll be the last one.
Yeah. Barbara Jackson, I appreciate you so much for that. It's been over 9,000. Yeah, Whip, what are you talking about? I listen to a ton of music, so that would be really hard. Because once again, like with movies, music, my taste changes all the time. So yeah, if we're talking music right now, it's anything classical. Dvorak, Rachmaninoff, I like a lot. If you're talking popular right now, Dirty Heads and Revolution. If you're talking, I love heavy metal. I love screamo. I love Avenged Sevenfold. I'm into everything when it comes to music. I'm extremely eclectic. Okay, painting. All right, so probably Degas would be one. Rembrandt would be another one. I enjoy Rembrandt. And, oh God, I'd have a hard time with the third one. I have to sit here and think about my freaking art history.
See, I don't have it all. So, I wouldn't even know. I have no idea about art in any way. I mean, I think it's very important in our lives, but I just don't.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about it. Nothing.
Yeah, Monet. Monet is a good one, Eduardo. That's a good one. But yeah, no, that's. If you're saying artist, that's who I would pick, and that's who I would pick for musical artists. So I am into everything.
Not touching that. Everybody, thanks for joining us. Tucker's having another. Oh, can you hear that?
It does. It breaks my heart.
He's okay. He
Oh.
he's got like this rough cold, and poor guy just I don't know. We'll take care of him.
Yeah.
In a good way. In a good way, people. I didn't mean it like that.
Yeah.
Thanks everybody for joining us. Again, tons of streams later tonight. Go check out fishfam.link. See all the different people. Remember, there is a members-only Discord server that currently is for Steven and myself, our channels, but it's going to expand to quite a few different channels. Alex is interested. There's a whole bunch of people that are going to be involved too, so you'll get to hang out with people from a bunch of different channels on the one Discord server for members. I think that's enough commercials. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you on the next one.